A couple years ago, we got a multiplayer game, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and it came out at kind of a rough time. The free-to-play Multiverses came out, which didn't really help matters for it. Well, Multiverses is now shut down, no longer there. And now, Ludosity and Fair Play Labs are taking another stab at it with the sequel, Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl 2. Bringing back characters from my childhood and a bunch that was way after my time. Yes, I'm old, don't ask how old. While I had a little bit of fun with that last game, there really wasn't much to it. So let's take a look if the sequel is worth picking up or if it's just nostalgia bait. And I will say thank you to Game Mill for providing me a review copy. Let's get into it. This game actually looks pretty good. You got fantastic stages from different shows and they're not just static backgrounds. Many of them have a lot of stuff going on and it looks pretty cool. And they could have just phoned that in, but they didn't. They brought these characters to life extremely well. They found a style that makes everything fit well, but not removing the identity of what makes those characters feel so great. And in the original, they didn't really include voice acting until later on, but this has voices for the characters, and I don't know if a lot of them have been just added in from the shows, or if these are new lines, though some of them feel like they're new lines, but I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, feels like you would lose a lot of personality without the voices, and I'm glad they put these in.
Meow. I guess I shouldn't be surprised it's trying to talk. I mean, I can talk.
There are a few different modes you can play. Online, I can't really talk about much, as there weren't really anybody playing it pre-release, so I'll update you in a later video how that online is. It does offer crossplay, which is nice, but we were told not to use it during the preview period, but it didn't really matter anyway because I couldn't really find anybody to play with, so there's that. You got modes such as the single-player Boss Rush, Arcade, and Training modes, but there is a campaign mode, which is the big single-player mode for this game. You start as SpongeBob and you go through these series of fights till you get to a boss. You learn there's this evil vampire dude who's, I guess, doing bad things. I don't really remember what he's doing, but apparently he's like a threat. So it's up to you and other Nicktoons you save to find out. One thing I find interesting, it does include roguelike elements, but it's not a roguelike. So what you do is you go through a ladder of enemies, and you go through, you fight them. There's also spots you can go to where you can buy power-ups, kind of like you would in a roguelite, which are temporary, but give you buffs and stuff like that. Now, if you lose at any point during this ladder, you have to restart the ladder. But there are multiple ladders that you can go through. But if you complete a ladder, you don't have to go back and replay that, thankfully. So just keep that in mind, is that you want to buy power-ups to keep yourself going throughout the fight. And there's even some permanent buffs and stuff you can buy in the hub world, which is a big step up from the original game because it didn't have any real single-player content at all, so good job there. The gameplay is one I had a bit of trouble with at first, so let me explain. It plays very close to Smash Brothers with standard attacks, even more powerful attacks that are like smash attacks that send enemies flying. My issue is the control layout. On PlayStation, it's triangle for the jump, heavy attack on circle, X for your basic attack, and then square for some other kind of special attack. It feels very awkward to play, and you can't change the controls. There is no option to remap the buttons whatsoever. So if you have a particular way you like to play, too bad, you're stuck with that. It did eventually click with me a little bit, but it's really disappointing they didn't add that here, and it really would have helped me and maybe other people who struggle with this kind of stuff. Other than that, the gameplay feels smooth, although I did feel like air recovery was kind of slow after being hit. Felt like it should be a little more responsive, especially if you're going to fall over a pit. You want to be able to react and get back to that platform as quick as you can, so that throws me off quite a lot. You do have your flashy ultimate type attacks, kind of like you do in Smash Brothers. Looks very nice. Stages have different things going on to them, like I mentioned before, and some of those can even be interactive. So that does add a little extra layer of strategy and fun. And of course, you can change up how certain stages are laid out and how they work, kind of like you would in Smash Brothers. So if you want a stage that doesn't really have any interactability going on, you can do that. And of course, you can play up to 4 people together in a match and just go nuts with that. Though I will say the AI sometimes can be kind of stupid. I have a clip here of Jimmy Neutron just walking off the stage because, you know, Why not? And also, I've seen sometimes characters will pause as soon as the match starts. They don't even try to fight you. So that's really kind of strange. Although I've found that mostly in just the regular brawl mode. It seems like the AI and the campaign and stuff like that seems to be a little more active, but for some reason they're kind of stupid here. Biggest gripe I have is that there's missing characters. Now, the first game came out a couple years ago. Had quite a few characters. This has even more, which is fantastic. And you got a lot of favorites and a lot of returning ones, but there's some here that are missing, like Leonardo and Shredder and a few others, and it's just like, feels like they're saving it to resell you, which makes me kind of sad. These characters should have been included in this, and I feel like they should have been included. It makes me worry they're going to resell those instead of, creating new characters for the game. So that's a bit of a bummer. Overall, though, this game's pretty fun, and I quite enjoyed my time with it. If you're a big Smash Brothers fan and you're looking for something that's Smash-like, then, this isn't a bad game. So let me know what you think in the comments below if you plan on picking this up. And what's your favorite Nick tune? Let me know. And until next time, everybody, game on.